Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and this is what a media blackout looks like. Okay, repeat it with me. This is what an American media blackout looks like. This is what it looks like when your politicians don't say anything, your fourth estate says absolutely fucking nothing, and this is where I get a little bit upset because, hey, it's only costing the lives of many, many people, including our soldiers. But let's not forget about the women and children in Syria and the fact that Douma was and always has been, and I've reported on it since the beginning, a complete hoax. There was no chemical attack in Douma. Let me say it again. This is what an American media industrial complex cover up looks like. It's a blackout. It's a blackout. So you can say what you want about the Daily Mail, okay? And we're going to actually read the email, but they are the only Western outlet that I can find that's reported on this. I haven't seen the Guardian touch it yet. I haven't seen the Independent touch it. I think in the coming days they may. But this is just an incredible report out yesterday. It's a leaked email. We already knew that the media was going to ignore this. Why? Because we already had the leaked OPCW report that back in May further exposed that the canisters they said were used in the chemical attack and dropped were planted there. Okay? Robert Fisk's done this. I mean, Pearson Sharp of OAN, of OWN, he went to Douma in the days after the attacks and exposed there was no chemical attack there. We can go through so much. Now, this shows you how they not only rewrote but redacted anything that would really expose them for what they were. And none of this stopped us from launching missiles into Syria, by the way. And we're still there, okay? So just so everybody understands, this is over a year ago that this all happens. This is in April of 2018, all right? And they say that, that's right, it wasn't 17 missiles. It was 70 Tomahawk cruise missiles, okay? Okay? Get with it. We did this. We shot missiles in because of this. Guess what? This kid wasn't chemically attacked. He was taken off the streets. He had water poured on him. Now, I'm a guy that likes to read the documents. So why don't we just read the email from June of 2018 after the report comes out and how upset they are. And remember, this is actually in, I believe, May of 2019. Yeah, that's when we finally get even more confirmation. Thank you so much for the sticker flick off. I appreciate it. But let's just read it because it's pretty harsh, okay? From the organization to prohibit chemical weapons. What they are is nothing more than a front for globalist imperialism. That's all they are. That's it. They're a pretend narrative that covers up for the war crimes of the establishment. And if you don't think I'm telling you the truth, let's take a look at this, okay? We got it sorted by date, OPCW. What's coming up here? An hour ago. U.S. Security Council reaffirms stance on chemical weapons. Oh, thank you so much. All right. So we have Pravda. That's not an American media outlet, huh? That's weird. Okay, what do we have here? That's not an American. It's CNN's coming soon. MSNBC, Fox News. They're all coming soon, right? After all, the right wants to expose the left and the left wants to expose the right, right? Huh? All right, let's keep going. No. Oh, there's the Daily Mail article I'm covering. Okay, even India.com's not covering it. Let's see. No, this is not it. United News of India. No. Keep going. Okay, that's all right. So, yeah, we're going to reaffirm. Keep going that. Surely on the second page, right? This is all just a day ago. This was reported a day ago. So, hey, we're going to get it, right? All right, Counterpunch is reporting on it. Good for them. Counterpunch, that's not very mainstream. So far we have Counterpunch in the United States. That's it. The Gray Zone also doing it. Where's CNN? Oh, Sputnik International. That's not really a U.S. outlet, is it? That's Russia. Man, the Russians must be really propagandizing this one. Okay? Take a good look. It's Counterpunch. That's it. That's it. Because, guys, now we're going a week ago. Now it's all gone. None of this is even out there. You get it? You understand? So let's read this email. Because that's what we do. We read the leaked documents here. All right? And this is a person who was involved in actually writing the first report. I wish to express as a member of the fact-finding mission team that conducted the investigation into the alleged chemical attack in Douma on April 7th, my gravest concern at the redacted version of the FFM report, which I understand was at the behest of the Office of the Director General. After reading this modified report, which incidentally no other team member who deployed into Douma has had the opportunity to do, so he's the sole team member that even gets to read this stuff. Think how twisted that is. Okay? I was awestruck by how much it misrepresented the facts. I was struck, I'm sorry. What facts could have misrepresented? Oh, it made it look like there was a chemical attack there when there wasn't. We're going to keep reading, guys. Many of the facts and observations outlined in the full version are inextricably interconnected, and by selectively omitting certain ones, an unintended, bias has been introduced into the report, undermining its credibility. In other cases, some crucial facts that have remained in the redacted version have morphed into something quite different to what it was initially drafted. If I may, I will outline specific aspects to the redacted report that are particularly worrisome. Okay? The statement in paragraph 8.3 of the final conclusions. The team has sufficient evidence at this time to determine that chlorine or another reactive chlorine-containing chemical was likely released from cylinders, is highly misleading and not supported by the facts. Let's stop right there. That means, hey, fuckhead, we never said that those canisters that you planted there indicated that there was any chlorine because there's zero evidence for it. And don't worry, he keeps talking about it. All right? He talks about how there was like trace evidence of something maybe, and they morphed it into possibly chlorine. The only evidence available at this moment is that some samples collected at locations 2 and 4 were in contact with one or more chemicals that contain a reactive chlorine atom. Such chemicals can include molecular chlorine, phasine, cyanogen chloride, hydrochloric acid, hydrogen chlorine, or sodium hypochlorite, the major ingredient of household chlorine-based bleach. You understand what they're saying? You know what he's saying? He's saying this is bullshit. Purposely singling out chlorine gas as one of the possibilities is disingenuous. In other words, stop lying. It is also worth noting that the term reactive chlorine-containing chemical used in the redacted report is, in fact, inaccurate. It actually describes a reactive chemical that contains chlorine, which itself, the chlorine, is not necessarily reactive, e.g. chlorsphenol. The original report uses the more accurate term, a chemical containing reactive chlorine. Okay? The redacted report states that the gas was likely released from the cylinders in location 2 and 4. Remember that redacted part actually said, that redacted part of the report? Yeah. It wasn't even redacted, it was leaked. The original report purposely emphasized the fact that although the cylinders might have been the source of the chemical release, there was insufficient evidence to affirm this. It is possible the error was simply a typo. This is a major deviation from the original report. And remember, we get that leaked report, okay? You know, the leaked report no one wants to talk about. We'll type it in right here, just so people can see it. But we won't put it in news. We'll just type in Leaked OPCW report. Oh. Oh, well, we already showed you that, but look at that. Yeah. So weird. Let's go back to the leaked up email. See what else they lied about. Paragraph 8.2 states that based on high levels of various chlorinated organic derivatives detected in environmental samples, describing the levels as high likely overstates the extent of the levels of chlorinated organic derivative detected. There were, in most cases, present only in parts per billion range, as low as 1 to 2 parts per billion, which is essentially trace quantities. You made this up. That's what that says. Trace quantities, not from a chemical attack. The original report discusses in detail the inconsistency between the victim's symptoms, as reported by witnesses and seen in the video recordings. Oh, really? Dare to suggest that the video just showed, kids that were doused with water that didn't have any symptoms. Omitting this section of the report, including the epidemiology, which has been removed in its entirety, has a serious negative impact on the report, as this section is inextricably linked to the chemical agent identified. It either supports or detracts from the confidence in the identity of any possible chemical. In this case, the confidence in the identity of chlorine or any choking agent is drawn into question precisely because of the inconsistency with the reported and observed symptoms. In other words, these kids weren't choking on chlorine gas. Why do you keep lying? The inconsistency was not only noted by the FFM team, but strongly noted by 3 toxicologists with expertise in exposure to chemical weapons agents. The original report has extensive sections regarding the placement of the cylinders at both locations, as well as the relative damage caused to the impact points. This is what I'm talking about. This is the part that leaked. Okay? Compared to that cost of the cylinder suspected of being the sources of the toxic chemical, these sections are essentially absent from the redacted report. See, they didn't even make this part of the redacted report because it was so damning. This information was important in assessing the likelihood of the presence of toxic chemicals versus the use of toxic chemicals. A feature of this investigation and report was the robust and extensive scientific basis for sampling plans and analyzing the data collected. A comprehensive bibliography of peer-reviewed scientific literature was attached to support and enhance the credibility of the work of the mission. This has unfortunately been omitted from the redacted report. Oh, we're going to close it out, guys, but you're seeing it. It's right here, okay? I mean, what did we just hear? The kids weren't sick, you redacted that. The cylinders look placed there, you redacted that. We never said that this was a chemicals attack, and we showed you the likelihood. You redacted, or not even, they didn't even redact that. They got rid of it from the redacted reports that they didn't let anybody see. By singling out chlorine above equally plausible substances containing reactive chlorine and on presenting it as a fact in isolation creates, I believe, a level of partiality that would negatively impact on the perceived credibility of the report. In other words, stop lying, you fucked us over. And by extension, that of the organization. I am requesting that the fact-finding report be released in its entirety, as I fear that this redacted version no longer reflects the work of the team. Really? No kidding. The original report contains facts and observations that are equally valid. The fact that inconsistencies are highlighted or observations are not fully understood does not justify their omission. The inconsistencies and observations are based on the evidence and data collected. Further information in the future may help resolve them, but the facts as they stand at present will not alter and need to be reported. If the redacted version is to be released, I respectfully request to attach my differing observations in accordance with the spirit of paragraph 62 of part 2 of the verification annex of the CWC. So there's the leaked email. Makes it pretty clear what happened here. And just like that leaked part of the report that we discussed in that email made it pretty clear, and just like Fisk's work and Pearson Sharp's work and other made it clear from the outset, that there was no chemical attack there. And that's why it's not about right or left, guys. That's why it's about right and wrong. Because this administration's still in there. As much as Trump seems to want to get out, he hasn't gotten out. He hasn't come clean on this. And none of them will. None of them will. On either side of the aisle. You won't hear it in the mainstream media. You're not hearing it on Fox News. Maybe Tucker Carlson covers it this coming week. That could happen. But that's about it. That's all I see. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm the one covering it now. So if you like this video, thumbs it up. Share it with others. Share this information. That's what's really important. Subscribe. We're 37,000 and growing. Let's get to 40,000. I really wanted to get to 40,000 before the end of the month. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, but that's okay. We're working hard. We're doing all sorts of videos. I love you guys, and without you, it wouldn't be possible. So go check out my documentary films. They're on the page. They're in the documentaries playlist section. They are free. Loose Change Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. And guys, if you want to financially support me, as everything is free, that's where you do it. It's the GoFundMe. $5, $10, $15. It means the world to me. Once again, it has been a pleasure bringing you this very displeasurable information. The American media industrial complex blackout that's going on this chemical attack that never happened back in April of 2018 is abhorrent, and it shows you how the narrative is ultimately controlled by the powers that be. Love you guys. See you on the flip.